Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us at our Springbok press conference this afternoon. We are going to keep it short and sweet. Time is pretty limited, so we've got 20 minutes. As usual, please just raise your hand. You've got a question for Coach Nienaber, and I'll trust you. Once you have asked your question, just lower your hand, and at the end of it, we will send out a recording of the press conference to you. So without further ado, we'll hop off to Jan de Koning.
Thank you, Zina. Thank you, Jacques. Jacques, I think I'll start with the obvious ones. I mean, we know Dwayne's struggling with a bit of knee, and we know Frans Stein's got his hamstring problem. We know of Kobus's Reinhard's injury, and we know of Johan Goosen's injury. But two of the guys are in the squad and two are not in the squad. We just clear that up for us. I mean, there's so much speculation around why guys are in the squad and not in the squad. So you just clear that up for us around those injured players.
Okay, so Dwayne and Frans got injured while playing for their clubs, which the other two also have, but they, Johan obviously have got an injury. Let's start with Johan. Okay, so he got an injury a while back, and obviously he's somebody that we are looking at maybe to cover as a fly-off, but he's a guy that we've never worked with before. So we just thought it a great opportunity, seeing that our camp is in Pretoria, that we get him in this the time that we've been here, the 3 weeks or that we've been here, to pull him into the alignment camps, aligning with us. But now while we in camp, so that he can actually see how we operate, how we work, how information gets distributed. So that was the thinking about including Johan with us for this 3 weeks. But when we move on from here and we go into the test matches to Bloemfontein and to Cape Town and playing against New Zealand, he will stay with the Bulls and finish his rehab with the Bulls, and he'll probably then will start the URC competition next year, playing a couple of games for the Bulls, because currently I think the URC is scheduled to start when the last game of the Rugby Championship. It might be made a week early, I'm not 100% sure. And then he might, if everything goes well, he's medically fit. Sorry, somebody's microphone is on. So okay, then obviously, if everything goes well and his performance is good, he can actually join us on the end of year tour if everything goes well and he's playing good rugby.
Nathan?
I can clear up. Okay, so listen, let me clear up. So that's Johan. Dwayne and Frans got injured while playing for their clubs, and obviously, so Dwayne will continue. He will go for, if he's going for a procedure now, he will go for a procedure. And obviously, Frans, I think, has done a hamstring, so he's under rehabilitation with a club. So Frans, we had a good conversation with him. He's one of our pony players. He's a player that we will probably pull into the squad during this year. But we had an open conversation between us and listen, do your rehab, make sure that you're 100% right, make sure you are in good physical conditioning. When we pick up an injury, we will pull you into the squad as ASAP. But if finished, don't be hasty with your injury. He understands how we see the plan going forward with him, and he understands how we think. So Frans, the moment he's ready to go and he's good to go and he's in a good and he's medically fit and there's an opportunity for us to pull him in, we will pull him in. Dwayne, I think Dwayne's going for a procedure during this week, and then he will, I think he's got clearance from his club to do his rehabilitation in South Africa, and then obviously he will go through his rehab, through the procedure, through the rehab, and once he's cleared then by his club, we can pull him into our squad. And then the other one, it's Johan. The other one is Kobus Reinach. Obviously had an injury a while back. He came for operation in South Africa, and again there the club. He asked the club if it's fine with him if he does his rehab in South Africa. They agreed to that. So he's currently doing his rehab in South Africa. But same as with Dwayne, he needs to get clearance from his club. After his rehab is completed, he has to fly back to Montpellier. Their medical doctors have to check him out. And once they clear him, then we can pull him into our environment. I hope that that's a mouthful, but I hope there's now clarity in terms of why certain injured guys are with us. Short answer, their clubs gave permission to that, and they're doing their rehab in South Africa. And then some of the guys got injured now in the last part of the season while they're still with their club, so they haven't had any procedures done on them. And so they need to go through the whole process. And once the club then releases them medically, we can pull them into our squad. And Frans Steyn, we had a nice conversation. He knows where he stands with us, and like I say, he's going to do his rehab, and once we need him, we will just pull him up if he's in good shape and he keeps himself fit and stuff like that. Yes.
Thank you, Jacques. Nathan, you can ask your question.
Thanks, Zina. Good day, Jacques. Some of your players are still busy with the playoffs. Individually, are you satisfied where they are at the moment? And a review of the semi-finals with the URC Premiership in England, including top 14, specifically the games your players are still involved in. Then lastly, a preview of the Bulls and Stormers game.
Okay, sorry, I missed the first one, Nathan. The first part?
Are you satisfied where your players are at the moment, with the ones that are involved with the URC and obviously the board as well?
Yeah, so okay, the guys who's with us currently, obviously we have to be quite creative in terms of running training sessions. We are 16 players, and there's certain positions that we don't have somebody in. So we have props filling in as locks and locks filling in as loose forwards. So we are as creative as possible. And obviously, if we're only 16, it's tough to have opposition against us. So, but I must say, Wessel, who's one of the coaches here at the Bulls, obviously the Bulls are in a semi-final with Currie Cup and in a final in the URC. So those two teams are occupied. But I must say, Wessel has worked closely with us, and he's getting some club guys in. So we had opposition this morning to train again. So as I say, with the guys who's currently with us, we try and be as creative as possible to create as close to match intensity and match pictures that we can. For the guys currently playing in the URC, no, listen, for us, having two teams in the final is awesome. I think if you look at the long-term development of the players who's playing in these big quarterfinals, big semi-finals, big finals of URC, I mean, that is can I put it, that is development of a player that you can't buy. You know, you want players to play in big games like that. The development and the experience they gain playing in big matches like that is invaluable. You know, so it's great for us to have them operating and see them operating in games like that. And then that counts for the top 14 and the Premiership. That's where you want to see players play. You don't want to see Jasper play in a Premiership final. You want to see Andrew playing in a Premiership final. You want to see South Africans playing in big competitions, and the same would be in top 14. So no, it's good for us.
Guys, we don't have much time left, so please can you just keep your questions brief? Can we go to Daniel?
Still muted. Am I muted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can fire.
Okay, great. I just wondered what the mandate is for this Wales series. In other words, would you take a couple of losses if it meant giving some game time to inexperienced players, or is it a win at all cost mentality for this?
No, I think when you represent your country or the Springboks, there's a couple of things that you have to keep in mind. I think SAA games is maybe for, I don't want to call it development and performance, but I think the Springboks are for performance. You know, it's a performance platform. You have to perform. You represent your country. You are representing a brand that's been there for years. for hundreds of years, you know. So I don't think that's necessarily the platform to develop. SAA games are a great platform to develop. I'm not saying that it's not a platform to maybe, if results go your way and if injuries and go your way, that there might be opportunity within the Springboks to give players some opportunity to get exposure to top international games. But I think the key is, and I hope, Daniel, that answers your question. I think always when you represent your country, when you represent the Springboks, you want to win. You know, that is why we play for the Springboks, to make the country proud. And that's why we do have a squad of 43 here, because there is SAA games lined up for the end of year tour where we can be a little bit creative and we can start introducing younger guys. But we obviously have a nice plan planned out for the whole year, in where we can maybe introduce some younger players and introduce them to top high performance environments of test match rugby. But I mean, that will be dependent on our results, and also that will be dependent on injuries. I mean, our plan might be only to play a player in a SAA game on the end of year tour, but if we pick up 2 injuries, he might be starting in test matches as soon as the first test match against Wales. So yes, we do have a plan for 2022, but that plan changes quickly based on the results and based on injuries.
Mubin?
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Zina. Good afternoon, Jacques. Jacques, just thanks for the clarification around those 4 players. Just another player, the issue around Cornell Hendricks. Is there anything that has been come from that? Because I remember last year around this year, Rassi said there was other reasons for him not being selected. So is he in the plans for this year? And what's the situation there?
Yeah, yes, great question. The thing around Cornell is our medical team hasn't, and I know it sounds weird and funny, but our medical team hasn't got the green light that, listen, he's all cleared for us. I mean, and we can only go what our players are saying. And our medical team and our specialists, how can I say, the guidance they give us as selectors. So first, it's the second thing that we look at when we include players within our squad, or we select them in our squad, is are they medically fit? You know, that is medically fit, conditioning, and all that other things. So how's his physical fitness and conditioning and medically fitness? So the moment we get clearance from our the people that advise us. Obviously, the Bulls have people advising them, and we have people advising us. The moment they give us the green light on Cornell, I mean, then we can look at selecting him. And I hope it gets sorted out, because obviously he's playing some good rugby, and he's somebody that we definitely have our eye on, and we track him and we do performance analysis on him. But again, if the Bulls medical team, they decided, listen, this guy's clear, he can play, our guys must do the same from our side. And the moment we, as selectors and coaches, we guided by them, the moment they give us a green light, he's up for selection. But currently, nobody has given us a green light yet.
Guys, we can only take another 2 or 3 English questions, and then we're going to switch over to about 2 or 3 Afrikaans questions for Afrikaans media. So, Matt, you can fire away.
Yeah, hi, Jacques. Just a quick one on Wales, if I can, please. One player you haven't faced recently would have been George North. Obviously, missed a lot of time with injury. He's back for this series. I'm just curious as to what you think the difference will be with him in the side, and what you can do to stop him.
No, listen, George is a phenomenal player. I mean, you're never lucky, you're never glad if a player isn't declared fit and you play against them. But I thought, in the World Cup in 2019, I mean, he was massive for them, and in the build-up, I think. In the back end of the tournament, he was carrying a niggles and stuff like that. So he was, and I'm talking out of just what I think I saw, you know, so it's not facts. Only the guys who were involved in the camp would know that. But I mean, George is a phenomenal player, and he's physical, he's strong, he's got such good attributes. They can play him at wing, he can play at 13, you know. So, and obviously he's got massive experience. He's played, I mean, I'm not talking out of fact here, but I think he's one of the youngest players to represent Wales. When did he start? Maybe you can help me there, Matt. I think he started at 20 or maybe
18.
even, sorry?
18.
He started at 18. I mean, he's almost like our Frans Steyn, who started, was the youngest player to play for us in the World Cup. So again, Matt, that just speaks volume. That statement alone speaks volume of the quality of the man. He's been since playing from 18 years old international rugby. That doesn't happen to a lot of players. So yeah, no, it would be a nice challenge for us.
We're going to take, Stephen, I know you're going to ask in Afrikaans, so we're going to take one more English question, and that will be Ashfaq. And then we'll go to you, Stephen.
Thanks, Ina. Jacques, just quickly on Madosh Tambwe, is he eligible for selection or not? I know there's been issues about passport. And then secondly, you spoke about the SAA games as an opportunity to test your depth a bit. But in terms of the test matches, you've rewarded form players from the URC. Do you also want to expand your sort of attacking game and approach as well? I know last year you said it was difficult because of COVID and the situation.
Yeah, Ashfaq, no, Madosh is not. He's not a South African citizen, so that's an easy one until he gets citizenship. He's not. Same with the two Tutuka brothers. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about Madosh, the Tutuka brothers. The reason why they can't get selected is because they're not South African citizens. They need to get citizenship. I know that Tutukas are busy with the process. I'm not sure if Madosh is, so that you must find out from them. Then in terms of, yes, in terms of we need to develop our game. We know, well, we did a proper, like I mentioned before, is that we did a proper review of our season and we weren't perfect at all. So there's a lot of growth for us within our team, and we are working on various areas to grow our game and to improve our game. So no, definitely we're trying to do that, and we even working on it now within the camp. So trying to improve our game.
Thank you to our international media. That wraps up the English section of our press conference. We will be switching over to Afrikaans now for 2 or 3 questions. Stephen, now you can fire away.
Thanks, Steve. Hallo Jacques, hoop het gaan goed daar so met jou.
Goed, Steven.
Jacques, met die situasie wat jy het met Frans, Damian Willemse, tot watter mate kan hy vir jou 'n soortgelyke rol van die bank af vervul, en dan terselfdertyd hoe sal jy opmaak vir daai lang afstand skop ding, of is dit maar nou net iets wat 'n ou moet prys gee?
Ja, nee, ja, Damian Willemse, uit die aard van die saak, ek dink dit was ons projek. So ons het 'n langtermyn projek met spelers oor tyd, jy weet, en Damian Willemse was van 2018 af, was hy 'n projek vir ons. Ek dink hy's nou maar 23 en ek dink hy's oor die 10, 15 toetsal, miskien meer, ek dink 20, maar ek is nie seker nie. So hy het al 'n lekker klomp ondervinding agter sy blad. Maar en ons het van die begin af gedink, luister jy, hy is miskien die ou wat by Frans kan oorvat, wat vir jou kan cover op 10, 12 en op 15. En ons het hom uit die aard van die saak begin op 15. Want waar jy 'n bietjie meer tyd het, waar jy dieselfde vaardighede moet gebruik as 'n 10. En soos wat jy kan sien, hy het nou veral by die Stormers het hy bietjie nader beweeg aan 10. Hy's nou op 12 en ek dink hy het uitstekende seisoen gehad op 12 dae en op 15. Maak nie saak wat een van die twee gespeel het by die Stormers nie. En hy was baie waardevol vir hulle. So ja, hy het lekker ontwikkeling gekry en ja, met Frans is soos ek sê, ons het as daar enige besering is verder by ons, dan Frans weet, luister jy, ons kan hom môre oproep, jy weet, as daar en hy is gemaklik daarmee, as hy medies as die Cheetahs hom medies fiks verklaar, dan sal hy by ons aansluit. Ja, dit is ons projek daar, jy weet, ons het vir Damian nou en ons kan hom nou gebruik, hopelik as alles goed gaan, dan kan ons hom gebruik in hierdie toetse teen Wallis.
Simon?
Dankie Zina, hallo Jacques, dankie vir jou tyd. Net 'n vinnige ene, die beplanning rondom julle voorbereiding ensovoorts, jou medium en jou langtermyn beplanning, is dit 'n bietjie in die blik gedruk nou dat die Bulls en die Stormers finaal speel in die URC, of het julle vir daardie scenario voorsiening gemaak?
Nee, snaaks genoeg, ek het gedink laasweek, ek het gedink ons gaan 2 weke oefen met min nommers. Ja, want ja, ek het al 2 spanne het goeie rugby gespeel in die laaste ruk en jy weet nooit in 'n semifinaal nie, jy weet 'n semifinaal, 'n finaal, kwartfinale in uitspelwedstryde, jy weet daar's nie favorites nie. Enigiemand kan as dinge vir jou loop die dag dan kan jy wen. Maak nie saak wie jy speel nie. En ja nee, ek sê weer, ek dink as spanne in uitspelwedstryde speel. Dis waar jy spelers wil hê spelers moet speel. Dis waar jy hulle moet blootgestel aan word. Jy weet, so as jy vir my sê, luister, wat's die beste vir 'n speler se ontwikkeling? 'n week by die Bokke of 3 weke by die Bokke of 3 weke in 'n kwartfinale eindstryd, semifinaal eindstryd en 'n finaal. Jy weet, jy wil eintlik hê hulle moet in daai wedstryde speel onder daai druk teen van die beste spelers in die wêreld. Dis waar hulle goeie ontwikkeling sal kry en ek dink vir daai speler vir sy langtermyn ontwikkeling is dit ongelooflike goeie ondervinding, jy weet, wat hy vir ewig sal vorentoe vat. So ek dink dis uitstekend. Dit is yes, ons moet met die mense wat ons het, ons het nie 'n vol span nie, ons het nie genoeg nommers nie, ons het nie 'n pak met 1 tot 8 nie, so stitte moet flank speel, flanke moet slot speel, maar ons is so kreatief as wat ons kan wees in terme van voorbereiding, maar ek sê weer, ek dink dis uitstekend vir die spelers wat in hierdie uitspelronde speel, dis ondervinding wat jy nie kan koop nie, jy weet, jy moet hard werk om daar te kom en jy gaan baie leer, wen of verloor, jy gaan baie leer in daardie wedstryde.
Guys, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. That wraps up our press conference. We will be sending out the recording shortly. Thanks, Coach Jacques, for joining us. And thanks, guys. Have a lovely day.
Dankie, manne.
Dankie almal.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks,
Cheers, Jacques.
Cheers.
Dankie, Jacques.